Hello, everyone. Excited and welcome to our webinar that's all about YouTube strategies, monetization, growth. Please go ahead and type in the chat box where you currently live and a location that is on your bucket list. And then we'll dive into a little bit introductions about who is Nick and who's this guy sitting here. But yeah, please type in the chat. And actually, as we're doing that, Nick, before your introduction, if you could tell us what's on your bucket list.
Before my introduction, sure. Bucket list. Yeah, I think that kind of changes all the time. I will say right now, I have a big life event. My wife is pregnant right now, and we are due in October. So all of my bucket list stuff has now shifted to what can we incorporate a child with? So it's a lot of like I'd say not family friendly adventures. I think we might be a little more adventurous than family friendly, but I'm thinking about what can I bring a child on. So there's my bucket list. Yeah.
Okay, so that will probably change a lot if your content creation.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Your recommendations.
Absolutely, yeah. Whole new audience.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the comments really quick. All right, so we have Martha from Alabama. Bucket list in Thailand.
Cool.
Have you been there, Dick?
No, I've done a couple other Southeast Asia adventures, but not Thailand. So there you go. That's on my list. There you go.
Okay, yes, Thailand is amazing. Love it. Okay, we have a Mackenzie from Utah and dream of going to Norway. Oh, is it to see the lights or? Well, I mean, drop in the comments what Mackenzie. And then, feel free to chime in anytime. We also have Gavin from Utah as well. Okay, a lot of Utahnians.
Ooh, good question. Utah's fantastic. Have you been to Utah, Elaine?
I have not.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
I've only heard incredible things.
It is. It's incredible. And everybody knows it's incredible, and it's still underrated somehow, like it's really fantastic.
Okay, what's like one fantastic thing about it?
I mean, it's just like 360-degree views of like gorgeousness everywhere you go. And I think the people are so kind there. Like they're so nice, from the rental car people to people you meet in the backcountry. Like everybody just has a general air about them of niceness that I really enjoy. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So we have nice Gavin on here as well as nice Mackenzie.
Yeah, exactly.
We also have John Koff from West Virginia, British Columbia. Woo-hoo. Nice. Brooke from DC. Sure. Dream hiking is the PCT next year. We have so many creators liking that.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, if anybody does the PCT next year and they want a little trail magic, let me know, because I like to go out there and help out with some water and some garbage taken and all that stuff. So
wow, nice. Yeah, pick up on that offer.
yeah, hit me up.
We also have Trip, who I think is from Alabama. It just says Trip, Alabama. So I'm assuming he's from Alabama. Let's see. Jazz, part-time, living in Southwest Colorado. Travel, blah, blah, blah. Bucket list is Patagonia.
That's great.
Trip. Healy also is the bucket list is hunting in Alaska. Very specific.
That's great. Yeah.
All right, we got Ricky from SoCal. Ooh, in Nick's side of the world on Pacific. And he wants to finish the Triple Crown.
That's great. People have some dreams. This is great. Love it.
Oh, Mackenzie clarified. Fjords. Molly in Las Vegas. Bucket list is the Arctic. Amazing. So many people. Okay. Jamie from Lake Tahoe. Bucket list. Australia.
Oh, that's great. That's a bucket list there for some people.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I just want to see a kangaroo. That's like what I want to do.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so many people. Okay, finally, Amy from Florida and Lauren from Big Bend. So that this is how Nick, who's in the audience too, so you can,
Thank you.
Talk to them. Okay. Right. So super cool. Thanks for utilizing this chat feature and getting used to it, so that I want this to be kind of like more of a conversation where it's more of a group chat versus like a one-on-one interview. So whenever you do have a question that you like Nick to answer, please just type it in the chat and then we'll highlight it and we'll talk. And of course, if we don't get to it, we still, at the end of the day, do have 10 to 15 minutes at the very end to answer any questions and or continue topics that you might have wanted us to expound upon. And additionally, we will be recording this and sending this via email afterwards for you to rewatch. So just in case you need to dip out or whatever, which please don't dip out, but all right, now that that's out of the way, let me introduce myself really quick before we get to the main event. I'm Elaine, the Creator Development Manager here at RockPorch, and I help develop your skills as a creator, specifically on how to make more money, where I teach you everything I learned myself during my 7 years as a full-time content creator myself too. Now, I have the privilege of interviewing our OG RockPorch creator, Nick, who is also the founder of PackandSoul. He's based in LA, Venice Beach specifically, so hit him up if you're in town or around that area. Nick signed up as a RockPorch creator back in August of 2022, around when we launched specifically ourselves, when he had about 800 followers on YouTube. And now he is at almost 4.5 thousand and growing like tremendously. Nick is very conscientious of the land and how he walks along our earth. So please do ask him questions about that. And yeah, so let's get started. When did you start your YouTube journey, and what inspired you to start it?
It's a great question. I started the YouTube journey after my first thru hike, which was the Appalachian Trail in 2020. And I originally didn't have YouTube on my mind. I knew I wanted to document the experience on the AT. I'm a filmmaker in LA, and that's one way I express myself, and I really just feel centered when I'm creating things artistically. So on trail, I brought a mirrorless camera with me. I brought a couple other little gadgets. That was my luxury item, was like 6.5 pounds of camera gear, which is a lot. But it was totally worth it, because while I was out there, I got to just relax a little bit. Sometimes when you're doing a thru hike, I'm sure people know, you kind of get in like main brain, they call it, on the AT, where it's just like, I got to get to Maine. I got to get to Maine. And sometimes you forget about the actual journey at hand, and just slowing down and filming, some bees or a butterfly or something that's really beautiful along the trail. And having my camera equipment there really helped me do that. So anyway, I was making a document. It turned into a documentary on the AT. And from that experience, I realized, you know what? This community that is out on trail, I don't want to lose it. I want to actually grow it. And I know before I started the AT, especially pre-COVID, or actually during COVID, like pre-2020 hike, there was no information about, is the trail accessible? Like, are people still out there? What do trail towns look like? Can you go in and resupply at all? Are the towns open? And the only place I found actual information was with other hikers through YouTube, through Instagram, through these social media channels that like have a lot of negativity surrounding it, and it's warranted, but it also has such a positive impact as well. And that was one of them, the direct contact with the people that are doing the thing that I'm trying to do. So after I got back from the AT and made the documentary PackandSoul, I decided, you know what, let's start talking on YouTube about my experiences, about what what gear I used, about the people I met, all of those little things that I loved hearing from other YouTubers before I went. I wanted to contribute to that conversation as well when I got back, because it was so helpful for me. If I could be helpful to just one other person, that for me is the goal. So 2020, once I got back, really 2021, I started making a couple of YouTube videos, and the conversations I had with other people were immediately gratifying. I mean, it was so unbelievable to just to continue that community that you crave so heavily on trail, have that off trail and just continue it on. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So
So actually, Amy has a
yeah,
question.
who are some of your favorite creators? I originally started following Darwin. Darwin on Trail was one guy that was pretty influential to me, just because he was doing so much. I mean, it just seemed like he was constantly going. And I got to meet Darwin a couple of years later at ALDA, which is the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association, their annual gathering. Darwin was there, gave a speech. We got to hang out, and ended up doing an episode on his podcast. So he was somebody that was pretty influential to me early on. He's just because he's so robust in his content. He's just he's constantly making things, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So what would you say, what advice would you give your former self on things that you perhaps would have done differently now, in term on YouTube?
For the YouTube stuff, I think it's really about just staying connected and staying active in it. I mean, even now I have to just like push myself to create as much content as I can, and I can always do better, honestly. So if I were to go back and do it again, um, I'm a pretty meticulous person when it comes to content. Like I like to be a perfectionist, even though it never comes out perfect, obviously. Just get it out there and talk. I mean, like things go wrong all the time, and that's part of the allure, honestly. I mean, even in our like pre-chat to get to here, everything went wrong. And it's like, you know what? That's okay, because that's part of life as well. And once you're on trail, things go wrong all the time. So why should the content reflect anything different? Just get it out there. Just make stuff and get it out there. And if it's not perfect, that's okay, because that's part of the experience.
Yeah, I love that. Great advice. Oh,
Yeah.
Brooke has a question. If you got to vlog a through hike again, what camera gear would you bring?
Yeah, I
Ooh,
love that question. So I brought a Sony A6400 mirrorless camera, which for me was a really good mix between just versatility and price point and then quality. And it's one of mirrorless cameras are just lighter than a DSLR or something like that. With that being said, it was still 6.5 pounds of gear with, like a little crappy plastic tripod and, some batteries and SD cards, all that stuff, 6.5 pounds. I would not change that, honestly. It was so tempting for me to just bring a GoPro or just use my phone, which I did supplement a lot of footage with just my phone, which I mean they take great quality film, obviously. But having a bit of a boost with the mirrorless camera was key in my opinion. So if I were going to do it again, I would bring another mirrorless camera, maybe an upgrade on the Sony, maybe just bring my A6400 that I have right now, because I think the quality was really nice compared to the price point, the weight, the versatility, that kind of stuff. How did I charge my gear in the backcountry? I love camera questions are my favorite. So this is great.
great.
Yeah, I had a an external battery pack, which was I think like a 24,000 mAh, something like that. But I went into town probably every 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days. I really tried to maximize my time in the woods, and I didn't stay at too many hostels or anything like that. I did stay at the hostels because I think that's an amazing part of the trip, but I really wanted to maximize my time in the wilderness. So charging was a big consideration. I had my external battery pack, which helped a lot. And then when I went into town, I just charged every battery I had, which I brought like 8 or 10, I think 10 external batteries for my camera, which is a lot. I mean, they're small, but it adds up. Quickly. So I just charged all of them, and I rarely ran out of battery for my camera while I was on trail. My phone, I never used really. I just kept an airplane mode or even off. And then when I wanted to use it, I would turn it on and take some footage. But I really tried to limit usage while it was just idle. And then when I went into town, charged everything I possibly could and brought a bunch of batteries. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah, another question. Yeah, what's a good beginner editing program or app for making video content?
So it's interesting. I use Adobe Premiere, which is it's not a beginner program by any means, but it is user friendly in my opinion. I think there are so many different accessible programs for people these days, like just iMovie on your iPhone or on your laptop if you have an Apple. Like that is great. It works really, really well. I think as a filmmaker, just in general, we have this really interesting mix of everything is so accessible right now. So everybody can do it, and that's wonderful. It's also extremely diluted because everybody can do it. So where do you find your voice artistically? But putting that aside and just focusing on how accessible everything is, there are so many different programs. I think just using specifically iMovie is fine. I use Adobe Premiere, which I think you can learn in a very short amount of time. Does
Uh-huh.
produce review type content for affiliate marketing. Wait, say it. Do you also produce
Hold
reviews?
on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I might
Let's.
just be referring to the YouTube content that I make that the affiliate marketing is then correlated with. I'm assuming if there's a clarification for that question, that'd be awesome. But I think what you're talking about is the affiliate marketing that I do is all through YouTube for me specifically. I haven't mastered the Instagram world just yet. I hope to at some point. Maybe Lynn can help me out with that. I know she would probably
I
love
got
to. Yeah, yeah. But YouTube is really my bread and butter for affiliate marketing. So I have everything. I try to make it as succinct and easy for people to locate as possible on YouTube, and highlight whatever I'm talking about. That's at the very beginning. So if I'm highlighting a review on my backpack, then right away before anything else, it's like, here's a link to this backpack if you're interested in checking it out. So just making it as easy as possible for people to get on YouTube. That's kind of my goal. Do I see more
Okay.
affiliate success?
I literally have so many questions that I want to personally ask, but everyone is asking so many questions, so I have to highlight them. So,
Great question.
okay.
So Amy,
Yeah.
I find more on long form videos. I haven't made too many shorts just yet. I've done a few of them, honestly, and it's fun, but I find more success on the long form just from my experience. I want to touch upon something right now. And I think this is a good segue, that Amy's question. My first goal, not only goal, but kind of only goal in doing this whole thing, affiliate marketing, YouTube, any of that stuff, is to connect with other hikers and help other hikers the way I was helped and continue to be helped by this community. So it's not about selling the gear, really. Like, that stuff is a byproduct of the community that you're creating. Is you help share your opinion and then you get a kickback on it, which is lovely because you're promoting it. And I think other people that, if I buy their suggestions, then they should get a kickback as well because they're helping sell it also. But the authenticity that I strive for is, I think, one of the reasons, it's the main reason why we're even having this conversation right now, because it's not a secret. I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. That would be cool one day, maybe, but maybe never happens either. And I'm okay with that. The followers that I do have and the people that I do follow, our journeys are connected through authenticity. We're just trying to help each other out in hiking the trail. Like, that's the goal. Get out and hike the trail. It's not to sell equipment. So the long form videos, going back to Amy's question, the long form videos are an in-depth look at what the gear I actually use. Like the backpack I have been using for 7 years or something at this point. Like, that's what I'm promoting. And I have an authentic connection to it because it's personal. And I understand that everybody is going to be different. I always make that caveat. I'm not trying to sell you something you don't want. I'm just trying to tell you what has worked for me, and maybe that'll work for you too. So I find the long form videos are really they're capable of doing that, as opposed to the short form videos that I've yet to find the value in, just for me, to really dive in and say, hey, here's why I love this or don't love it.
Yeah, great. Well, actually, this is a great follow-up question from Gavin, where he's talking about, do you separate your review video types? Do you separate the review video types versus, with your entertainment video types? And
That's
how
a
do
great
you,
question. Yeah.
affiliate link there?
I don't yet, but I don't separate it as much as other people. I would say I do separate it because YouTube does have that feature, but it's all really on there, and I jump back and forth between artistic video and a gear review, and then a van video, and then another gear review, and something like that. That might be something I can do better, if that's what I find people are interested in, and having it more segmented like that. That might be a really wonderful suggestion rather than question. So thank you, Gavin.
We're all learning here, right? It's all good. Cool. All right, we have another one. Let's see. Okay, so going back to William, right? He was talking about, do you produce review type? Oh, I guess that's like a similar question. Sorry, trying to filter through all these.
And so, I mean, a little more on that, I guess. It's like, I think it's all encompassing, really, at the end of the day. The content that I make is simply just the content that I like to watch as well. And it's all encompassing because I think even my gear review videos, I'd like it to have a little bit of artistic expression in there. For me, I don't have to, as I pointed out, I kind of get a little bit into perfectionist mode and spend, hours and hours and days on just doing a simple gear review video, and then it comes out the way it comes out anyway. But I think it's all encompassing, the artistic aspect in the content review in the artistic aspect. All of that stuff for me is a little bit synonymous with each other. So I don't distinguish them too much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we have another question from Jess. She's asking, are there other monetization opportunities outside of affiliate programs and sponsorships that you've tapped into? Good question, Jess.
Yeah, I love that. So there have been a couple of opportunities that I've been able to capitalize on in terms of monetization. One has been just with the companies themselves, like the gear companies themselves, or even with RockPorch, where it's like, hey, there's a big hiker gathering at the Alda, annual summit. Can you go out there and we'll help pay for your plane ticket, or we'll help pay for some food, or give you a little stipend or something like that. Can you go just recruit other people for RockPorch? And I gladly took that opportunity because I think it's wonderful. Writing articles for certain companies and gear companies that'll throw you a couple dollars a word, or 50 cents a word, even something that's minuscule sometimes, but just to feel like, hey, I'm getting a bit of a monetary return on my work, and the things that I love to do feels really good, and it kind of pushes you to do even more. So besides the affiliate link stuff, companies can reach out to you and just say, hey, we want you to go somewhere, produce something, and we'll pay you for it. And I've taken advantage of that. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So I guess going back to like YouTube and like linking, and just like description and all that good stuff, what are the rules around and disclosures that you need for affiliate links on YouTube?
So great. Are you talking about specifically getting the affiliate links to begin with, or are you talking about the YouTube rules and how you can promote or something like that?
Yeah, so on YouTube, promoting affiliate links on YouTube in your descriptions, what do you need to disclose? What do you need to do around that?
Great. So first of all, I like to be extremely transparent with people and tell them that these are my affiliate links. I'm not trying to dupe anybody into anything. Sometimes it feels like you are getting duped in our, ever marketing world that's being pushed on us. And that's certainly not my intention. And I don't think that's RockPorch's intention at all. Like, we want to create this community. We want to let people know these are the links that we are verifying, and we support them. So right away, I tell people, these are affiliate links. They help me make these videos. They help me have adventures, and they help me connect with you all. So that's first and foremost. I also like to make them, as I said, really easy for people to distinguish. So I split them up into, this is my sleep system. So under sleep system will be, sleeping bag. It'll be sleeping pad. It'll be pillow. It'll be things like that. These are my my actual walking gear stuff. So this will be my backpack, my shoes, my poles, that sort of stuff. I'll even highlight my camera. This is my camera gear. So this is my Sony a6400 that I use. This is my Rode mic. This is my on and on and on. So trying to separate it into categories for people to really easily just go in there and find things, I think, is really important. I also, it's a bit of a sidestep from the actual link, but I converse with people a lot on YouTube. They're constantly having questions or comments on the video pages, and I really enjoy engaging in those conversations, even if sometimes they're a little bit, I don't know, unsavory, which they can be. Typically, I found that people don't really mean what they say. They're just trying to start a conversation. If you're able to kind of weather that storm for a minute, 99% of the comments are really positive, and you can go back and forth. But even the 1% that are like, what do they mean by that? What are you talking about? Having a conversation with people and then directing them to the affiliate links is really a nice way to go about doing that, in my opinion.
Okay, so continuing on, Amy has a question, but I want to highlight character use in your description, right? Because there's 5,000 characters that you're allotted, and your description is really long, but also really, really effective because you make a lot of money with that, right? So how does shortening links work on YouTube? And do you recommend certain linking methods to make long descriptions work for you?
That's a great question, Lane. So I'm constantly learning and kind of revising all of that. So for me, it's a work in progress, honestly, because you know, on one hand, I really do want to get as much information out there as possible without having to go back and forth with somebody via comment. So you want to have a fair amount of information that's pertinent, like it shouldn't go on a tangent. But I know I have a very short attention span, and everybody these days has a very short attention span. So it's like, what is really the important stuff? So what I try to do is get the important stuff up like right away, so people don't have to scroll to the bottom to get the important stuff. RockPorch has a really, nice way of having short links. You can shorten the link on RockPorch, so it's not like taking up way too many characters. It's a pretty short, concise link. So just having like, instead of saying, this is my tent that I love, here's the link, it's just, tent, Nemo tent, link, Osprey backpack, link, that sort of thing. And trying to bullet point it a little bit more, I think has worked for me. So it's a constant balance game I'm trying to play of like not too much stuff, but still important information, trying to get the important stuff at the top.
Yeah. Would you recommend things like, Genius Link or TubeBuddy, or like, those types of like link shorteners or things
Yeah,
like
the Genius Link stuff is good. I would recommend anything that takes you directly from YouTube to the page. So I know like Instagram obviously has their blinking the name where it takes you to another page that takes you, like yeah, whatever. You're right. So I don't want to go from YouTube to a middleman page to then the RockPorch page that leads you to REI. Just trying to make it one click accessible, something like that. So the Genius links in theory are a wonderful idea. I just don't want them to have to do too many steps. I just want it to be really simple. Again, just because I know I don't want to go through too many steps, I want to make it as easy as possible for myself as well.
Yeah. Okay, I want to highlight Amy's question, which is more about content. But when you make your videos, do you put your CTA for your affiliate links in the beginning, middle, or end of the content? And what works best for you?
That's a good question. So I think I've done all of them. I think I've kind of scattered out. So I want to be completely transparent now. Like I'm still in the phases of learning, and I don't know if that's ever going to change. I might be a Darwin creator and have millions of followers and still be like, oh, you know what? Let's manipulate this a little bit. I find as early as possible, the better. Like not trying to have too much fluff around anything content created, whether that's talking about, how many times are you watching a YouTube video and the person, the title says, my backpack review, and then 5 minutes in, they have yet to review the backpack. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to get all that stuff really early on in the actual video, in the linking, all of that stuff. It's like, I'm reviewing my backpack. Here, full disclosure, I love it. Here's why I love it, and then go through it. Or I'm reviewing this. I did not love it. There were a few things I did, but here were the problems and challenges I found, and then go through it pretty much right away. So I like to get everything up right at the beginning with the content, with the links, with all that stuff, and then do the deep dive for the next 9-10 minutes or whatever it is.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, that's great advice. Also, Adam has a question. How do you differentiate between sponsored gear and the gear that you personally recommend in your content?
I only recommend personal gear in my content. So I've yet to have somebody send me something that I haven't used for a long time and then go on and recommend it. That's part of the authenticity that I'm trying to create, which is a bit of a misnomer. I mean, how can you recreate authenticity? But anyway, I'm trying to. I don't recommend anything that I haven't used thoroughly and put to the test. So my gear, if you looked and smelled my gear, it is very used, and that's when I'm going to recommend it. People are trying to send you things all the time, and I think that's fine. That's wonderful. I'm not going to recommend it unless I've then used it for a long period of time and really love it. Even now with, my relatively small following, but impactful following, there are companies that reach out constantly and want to send gear and headlamps and pants and shorts and on and on and on. And sometimes I will accept those offers as a gift and just say, sure, I'll try it out because I know you have a business and you're trying to grow it as well. And this might be worthwhile. Usually I'm pretty set, honestly. Like I don't need a superfluous amount of gear and clothing. I try to live a more minimalist lifestyle, try to anyway. And so I don't accept too many things to begin with. And I definitely don't promote them if I haven't used them.
Okay, which is actually a great segue to Amy's next question. Do you include affiliate links for the products you may not love and have issues with that you mentioned in your videos?
Also, very good question. These are great questions, everybody. Thank you. No, I will not promote something that I don't like. And again, it just goes back to that conversation. I mean, if I'm walking down the trail with somebody and we're just talking about gear, I wouldn't recommend it to them as, in person. So why would I recommend it to them through content? That's really all the contents that I have. I'm really trying to just replicate walking down a trail, having a conversation about gear. Because I mean, as hikers, we all know that like gear dominates a big portion of our conversations anyway. So trying to just replicate those conversations via YouTube. That's all I'm trying to do. So I wouldn't recommend something I don't like.
Okay. Yeah, and you wouldn't even like link to it so that people can access it. Yeah. Okay.
No.
So because
Yeah, and sorry, Lynn. I think that's why maybe I've been able to have a bit of success with such a relatively small following is that I think people trust what I say because I'm not going to lead them astray. It's definitely something that I don't use. And again, there's always that caveat of what I love may not be what you love. And that's great. That's cool. That's why we're having these conversations to begin with, especially with something like shoes, something like that. That's so personal. How could I ever recommend a pair of shoes to you? I'm just telling you what I really enjoyed and how durable they were and how long, how good the customer service was and that sort of thing. So they're more apt to click on my links, I think, maybe than possibly some other links that other people have because they know what they click on will be tried, true, tested, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So Mackenzie has a follow-up question. Great one. That says, what do you do about gear that you love that has been discontinued?
Awesome question.
Do you update the version?
Yeah. First of all, I hate it. I hate when they do that because I mean, we know like as soon as we find that piece of gear that works for us, we want it. And I've been guilty, especially my shoes. I use La Sportiva Wildcats. I mean, I'm walking around the streets with them all the time. I go to dinner with them, but I'm terrified that they're going to discontinue them. So I'll buy like 2 or 3 pairs at a time. Honestly, I always want to have a backup pair just for the simple fact that they might discontinue them. So if a piece of gear is discontinued, my Osprey Atmos 65-liter backpack was discontinued, the version that I used. I tried the new one out and I thought this is really good. And they actually made some updates on it. I will then promote it, but I'm not going to promote a new piece of gear that was, the previous version discontinued. I'm not going to promote the new version unless I've tried it because I know things change. I know that it might not be the same piece of gear. It might be improved for some people, but for me, I might say, you know what, the hip belt, I really used to like that hip belt and it felt a lot more comfortable. This sucks. I'm not going to promote that because that's a huge part of a backpack, something like that. So I'm always going to try it out first before I promote it, even if it's the same model type, just a newer version.
Okay. So how do you come up with your content ideas in terms of what you're going to create next?
So I always take a page out of one of my favorite filmmakers, Quentin Tarantino's book, where he's just like, I'm only making movies that I would want to see, movies that I enjoy. So I'm only making content that I'm interested in, I would want to see. It goes back to my pre-2020 Appalachian Trail first through hike thing, where it's like, I know what was important to me and I know the gear that I was looking at. It interests me. So then that's the videos I'm going to make. There certainly is a level. I'm not going to be completely, I don't know, altruistic about it or something like that. There's a level of what does work. I mean, if you take a look at my YouTube page, you'll see some videos have 150,000 views and other videos have 500 views. Why? Why the disparity? Because some people really just like seeing bare bones. Here's my backpack. Here's the review of it. For me, though, it gets a little bit stale to do that. So I also like making a whimsical, hey, I hiked the volcano in Guatemala and here's my adventure and that sort of thing because I enjoy it. So it's kind of like, I'll do one for me, I'll do one for you. I'll do one for me, I'll do one for you, but I enjoy all of it. So I forget the original question because I just blabbed.
You can talk about what you want to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
sorry.
want to know what you think about YouTube subtitles because you use them. Do you put them for every single video and why?
So for the long form videos, I let YouTube make the subtitles myself. Are you talking about like captions?
Yes.
Yeah, so I let YouTube just create those captions too, and they're pretty spot on. I try to be as articulate as I can, so it picks up on everything. But for the long-term videos, yeah, I let them do the captions, and I think it's important for the short form videos for shorts. They're like integral because I mean I fall victim to it. I just we scroll sometimes, and the sound's off automatically, so those captions, those subtitles are really important. I think also just casting reaching everybody. There are people who are hearing impaired that need to read captions, and I think they should be able to watch those videos, obviously. So I think, yeah, just hitting all the senses, I think, is really important, especially in our world where things are on mute all the time. We just look at it for 2 seconds, and the information's getting into us without us even realizing it.
Yeah. Okay, 3 amazing questions coming your way. Number 1, Gavin asks, at what point subscriber count did you start having companies consistently reach out to you for collaboration?
Great question. So, as you mentioned, I only had about, I think, 800 subscribers or followers or subscribers on YouTube when RockPorch reached out to me. And it's interesting because companies will reach out to you, and a lot of time they're not scams. They're hardly ever scams, but a lot of times they're just a company that you know they don't really have hiking in their interests. You know what I mean? It's just about selling a product, or it's just about I don't know. It's not the genuine approach that I found RockPorch to take. So I didn't know. I was like, you know what? I'll take the meeting with, it was Peter at the time, running that.
Yes, we love Peter.
Yeah, it was great. And so I took the meeting with him, and I was like, oh, this is a real thing. Why do they want me? I have 800 subscribers. I don't do anything. But they obviously saw something in the genuine nature of the content that I
You
made.
saw potential.
Yeah, but I had potential, right? And I am now and was then so thoroughly grateful to RockPorch because it allowed me access to everything rather than going company by company and saying, please take me as an affiliate marketer, please, that begging and groveling. They already had that situated. And for a person starting out that then, and even where I am right now with not a massive amount of followers, that's huge. Having access to all these different companies right away is massive. So yeah, smart. So I think uh, companies reach out to you for one of two reasons. One, you have a massive following, which I don't have. Or two, they see the potential in your authenticity and your work and your artistic endeavors and your quality, something like that. And I felt that pretty early on. And it only is growing the bigger subscriber count I have as well. So 800, I guess, would be the answer to that question because that's when RockPorch reached out.
Yeah, and just to expound just slightly on what you said, Nick, is I think oftentimes people don't realize that like if they sign up to RockPorch as an initial creator and they haven't signed up to other things, that generally speaking, all other platforms out there, you have to, yes, individually sign up per brand. And more than often as a small creator, you get rejected from
Oh,
those
yeah,
brands because you
absolutely.
don't have, yeah, like you don't have the following or the backing. But as a RockPorch vetted creator, yes, you get access immediately, so you can tap into and show them your potential before, yeah, for
Yeah,
anything
I
else.
mean, companies, plainly speaking, companies trust RockPorch, and if RockPorch trusts you, then it's everyone trusts each other. You're vetted.
Yes.
It's lovely. Yeah, especially a company like REI. That I think I did apply to be an REI affiliate. They're like, no. That's how I read the email. No. What are you? Yeah. And through RockPorch, you're able to get that, and that's where I would sell, I suppose, 95% of my purchases on RockPorch or through REI. And without that, I don't know where I'd be. Honestly, I wouldn't be doing any affiliate marketing probably.
Okay, so actually that's a great segue to Romer's question. How long did it take for you to start, what after you started posting your affiliate links, did you start seeing sales?
Pretty immediately, honestly. Yeah, I think within the first week, I would say. I mean, I could go back and check that honestly on the analytics, but pretty early on, people click a lot on the links that I have, and then the conversion rates are pretty good. And so I'd say pretty early on, and it goes in waves also, especially the stuff that I promote. It's primarily hiking gear and primarily on the Appalachian Trail. That's the niche I've tried to carve out, right? So yes, I've done other hikes, I've done other trails, but the Appalachian Trail really is, that's the one that, excuse me, is close to my heart. So it's those people, and there's seasons for that. So I'll go 2 weeks or 3 weeks without a single sale. And then I'll go every day for 2 or 3 weeks with a ton of sales. And it's like, well, what happened? Oh, that was when there was a big sale at REI, Memorial Day sale. That's when people are about to get on trail and they're making their last minute purchases. That's right when people get off trail and there's a lot of content being pushed. So everyone's invigorated for the next year. You know what I mean? So it ebbs and flows. And sometimes you're bummed because I will go like 2 weeks and I haven't had a single sale. And I'm like, what is going on? And then every day for 2 weeks, there'll be sales. So recognizing those trends. And I know, Elaine, you're big into that, like push the sales, push the
Mhm.
seasons. And it's really important because that's when people are interested in it. And again, it's still authentic and genuine. That's when people are looking.
Mhm.
So help them out. They're looking, let them see something, that sort of thing.
Love that. So do you talk about the sales in the video, or do you just post it in like your description, or how do you reference that? Because obviously a sale is just for a season, right? Or just for a little while. How do you make it
Right.
continue?
I have not yet mentioned the sales in a video. It's a good point. Maybe I will, especially a short form or something like that, where I think it is so like topical in the moment and then they kind of fade. That might be a wonderful way to do it. I haven't yet. What I have talked about in videos specifically is I spent $330 on this tent. But if I would have waited until the sale, they sold it for 200 and that kind of got me. So wait to the sale and then come back to this video and click that sort of thing. So I have referenced it like that, but only based on my personal experiences. Again, I am not the type of person who buys top of the top shelf gear when they're most expensive and then go on the hike and barely get anything dirty. Like that's not who I am at all. I'm always looking for a discount. If someone's giving old gear away, I'll take it, that sort of thing. And I think other people can identify with that. So I'm here to help them get the best deal possible because that's what I want. I want someone to help me get the best deal possible. So I think they'll look at the content and recognize that, and then maybe bookmark it and come back when they do see a sale.
Okay, cool. So, okay, and Mackenzie has another great question. Do you use any software to help with your titles and descriptions?
I don't use software, but I do spend a lot of time on it. And
Okay,
I will go back and alter it if it doesn't work.
okay. So
There,
what's
there
like your strategy of like how like
there's yeah. The strategy I think is really important. So it goes back again, I think, to, well, what affects me the most? You know what I mean? And what gets me it clickbait is a really bad term because it sounds like you're setting people up and you're duping them, and that's not what we're trying to do. But what is the most interesting? You
hmm
know? And the questions in the titles I think help, like how do you hitch into town or something like that, as opposed to just hitching into town. So that's a good example. Right now I have a video that I just have hitching on the Appalachian Trail. It didn't do that well, but maybe if I put how to hitch into town on the Appalachian Trail, that right there might make all the difference in the world. So I'll go back, I'll let it sit for a month or 2 weeks or something like that. If it doesn't really work so well, I'll go back and revise it a little bit. And it needs to pop and you can get artistic with it, but also I think the short, concise ones work well for me, where it's just like, Osprey backpack review. That works, as opposed to here's the backpack I used on the Appalachian Trail review, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And to kind of summarize what Nick is saying is basically whatever you type into Google or whatever your question is that you generally ask, that's probably a better YouTube title than what you're, wanting. Like basically it's yeah, question based.
Yes, way to summarize that. Thank you.
All right. We have we are it's time.
Oh,
That was the fastest 45 minutes of my life.
wow.
If you have additional questions, drop in the chat, and then we'll maybe we'll have Nick answer them and then send in an email or something like that.
Sure. I'd love
But for now, really appreciate Nick you carving out a bit of your time and to find a spot where there is Wi-Fi that you can actually talk outside of your van.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Oh, you got it. You got it. This was lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah. And if anybody has any questions, reach out to me personally on Pack and Soul, like on the YouTube page, or my email, packandsoul@gmail.com. And I'm more than happy to talk with you and hang out a little bit.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. Please reach out to him. Please follow him. Check out his page. He does incredible. And once again, thank you so much, Nick. You are amazing.
Appreciate it.
And thank you everyone for asking so many questions.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.